Good evening from Yummy B TV. Wishing you all well, sending loads of love as usual. Now I've come up tonight just basically to just talk about a couple of things, a variety, maybe 3 or 4 matters all at the same time like I normally do or sometimes do. And I'm just telling you to start with, I was just on my way somewhere about half hour ago, or about an hour ago, and I was going to surprise someone with a visit and go and see them, because many times over the weeks and months I said, oh, I'll be coming on this day and don't worry, I'll definitely be there, and you don't turn up and the person's tolerance levels and patience with me could run very, very thin. So that when I say it, and it's for definite that I am, they question whether I actually am, and action speaks louder than words. Yes, definitely right. But why again do we allow ourselves to get irritated with, say, the same person, or us lot in general, where a couple of text messages can upset you and you think, oh, don't say that. Oh, I don't like the way you phrase that, and no, you're wrong about this. Not about coming and going, but you can't get what the person is saying, or you beg to differ, really, or you're not agreeing with it. So it can upset you and irritate you if you allow it to. Now, in recent times, happened a few times with different people as well, where I switch off and I go, oh God, forget it then. I ain't listening, I ain't saying nothing, I ain't responding. So it becomes more of a sulk with the person. So imagine I get on the train, I'm getting on the overground, a couple of stops down the line, and I'm getting text messages, and it's just the same thing again. It's the same things, different things being said that are upsetting me, and I start sulking and I turn back. So turning back, no, I'm not going there to listen to a barrage of that, or listen to this, or but I really wanted to see the lovely person and all that and everything. But I jumped off the train, turned back, and came back again. It's the second time I've travelled today, right? So I came back and I'm thinking, you've been really spiteful, Sam. So you could have just gone anyway and carried on with it to, make that trust of times, weeks and months gone by where you said those kind of things, but you never fulfilled what you said you was going to do, So that would have been the best course of action to do, but sadly I didn't do it. I came back home sulking and, spiteful, or just not in the mood for it. Whatever, I've taken the wrong course of action. So I've turned back around and come back anyway. So, and then I was thinking when I came back, sorry, I apologise to that person anyway. But I came back later on and I was thinking, because I was watching a film last night, one of my own followers, Sarah, down there, and a few of you have been talking about it, the Screwed film, with some of them from Top Boy in it. You got James Foreman, I think, he's in it. So the cast in it is a very known cast from a lot of British films and actors that have been in other things as well. So I watched it, and there was another film I watched recently as well, that the reality of it really made me believe that they were close to what prison is really like. Like, I was trying to find holes in the film Screwed, from leaning over the landings with, the towels around your neck, with the grey tracksuit bottoms, and men standing with their hands down their pants. I was always one of those ones as well. It's like you've got a tool down there, like you're looking around on association time. They're also talking about staff being groomed, new ones coming in, and you get the yummy character in there where someone says, yeah, go and have a word with him, see if he can be pulled in to bring a few bits and bobs in. And I think the character, the light-skinned fella, he's in Top Boy, I think. He played a good part in that, where he was talking to the big fella that was shot in brown and white, say, and he's winning him over by way of his confidence to try and make him feel, the big fella, trying to make the dealer feel that he's just a softy, nobody, don't worry about me, I'm not hard, I'm not a threat to you. So I think one of the lines he dropped in was, yeah, what you got a bit of both, like, kind of thing. So the big man looks at him and goes, you don't look like a man who smokes that kind of thing. So I think he's on the right track straight away. But, you know, he's about 6'5", built like a tank. And, but it's all a ploy. So either rob the gear or do him or whatever. And then somebody else, while he's talking to him in the shower, comes with a jug of water, throws it all over him. Very realistic. Very realistic also about the grooming that I just said about staff. Very realistic about on the visits where, you know, people of different sexes, whether gay or whatever way round it is. And, you know, you have a young lady playing that part and the name calling that they get while they're in there in prison, especially in our prisons in England, you know, with being of a different sexual orientation, you can get really slaughtered by the inmates because it's and you know, you say those rude things and you know that it's going to hurt the person even more, and they respond by swearing back and putting you on report or writing you up in a book or press the bell when you get rushed. So a lot of realities in that I believe are showing me about, you know, the films these days compared with a lot of them, apart from Vicar, I think, and maybe Scum with Ray Winston when we was little. Those, I think, were closer to, you know, the truth. You know, some of these prison films that they put on are so far from the truth that it's almost, you know, you're not teaching nobody nothing by maybe. That's why it's non-fiction, but but I'm saying, like, these are made up things, but the reality of the picture, you know, for me, for once or twice in life. But then I haven't watched a lot of films. So any other recommendations from, there's another one with Sean Bean in recently as well, where he gets convicted of a crime or something. And, you know, he's sitting in there, he's a first timer as well, and he's in a dinner queue. Forgot the name of the film, remind me of that. Some great feedback on that. So some of you told me to watch that. But like I said, I like the way that some of these films portray prison in the right way. The only thing I didn't get was that the uniforms were blue. So whether there's a reason behind that, I'm hoping one of you lot or some of you can tell me, because, you know, the prison officer shirts are probably white all the time and not blue. So I didn't get that bit, unless there's a reason behind it. Because if you're making a film of that nature, you're going to make your best to make it look as real as possible. You know, the bit where he runs into the cell and one officer with one by the door, and you're going up a man's backside and twisting him up and taking his parcel of him is quite realistic too. Sorry, one minute. It's quite realistic too, because it does happen when you get wrapped up in there. They can forcibly, can't remember if you're really allowed to put a rubber glove on and go up at someone's backside and take the stuff out, or where it's cheeked in between and pull it out in whatever means possible if you've got something that you're breaking the rules with, where they can forcibly take it off you. So the way he went into the cell and did that, I don't think that would be, but I'd say that is realistic to a point, but not, you know, 100% right, if you get what I mean. Not one officer, one at the door. I haven't really seen that one, but maybe some of you have as well. But the ending, no. I didn't. That's the only part I could say to you that I don't believe was realistic. You know, when the officers start fighting with each other, and, you know, the outcome of it, the storyline, I thought wasn't as good as the rest of it. But I was thinking again about reoffending and the reasons why I believe that I kept coming and going, and, you know, getting from being like very small and not, you know, in the early days, we know it's all a show and you want to get big and strong and you want to be a face or whatever, you want to be known to know this way, you want to make a name for yourself and that kind of stuff. And I was thinking of all the times at night where I used to lie there thinking about, you know, in previous videos we talked about writing letters, you know, and at the time we know that when we're talking to our partners or potential girlfriends, or, you know, you're writing and, you know, I love you, and when we get out we're going to do this, we're going to do that, and everything like that. And then you get out and you don't do it. So we have talked about those letter things in the past. But, you know, the other things that we missed, you know, that we felt like we missed, because I used to lie there some nights, reading, good therapy reading. If you've been in there, you know that when you're engrossed in a book, time can really go fast. And then you stop and you have a roll up and you have a break and you want to get back into the film. And you look at the clock and 4 or 5 hours have gone by. But the times when you lie there and you say, I can't wait to get out of the gate so I can eat a fry up, because the food in the old days, it was not much better now, but it is better than the slop they used to serve in them days. So I used to think, I can't wait, or, even a proper cup of coffee, and, you're going to spend more time with your kids, or you're going to build up a relationship with your son, and, you're going to spend do all these things that you never got to do the last time you was out. So let's take it back so that we're talking about the first time I went to prison, and when you get out, that feeling of the fresh air, and yes, I can't wait. And like when you're in there and you're lying down and you say, I'm definitely not going to see him again, I'm going to do my best. It's really hurtful. Them dark nights where you don't want to be there. You're wishing you was away from that hellhole of constant drama and danger, and the mix-ups, the name calling, and being frightened and fearful of harm in a hostile environment, and never to wanting to go back there, and missing out on relationships and love. I remember when I was a little sweet boy when I was younger, and I was thinking, I wouldn't mind being with my girl, and I would like to spend time, and I miss having that hug and that comfort of female companionship and that kind of thing. And then I'm saying to you lot, then why is it, all right, institutionalized recidivism, keep coming back and forth, because it's all and the constant repetitive behavior. We know that it took me years and years and years and years and significant things to happen to want me to change and not want to harm people no more, for the sake of material stuff, speaking on behalf of myself. And not going to meet this one and that one, and that he's a bad influence. They never came to visit me while I was there. I won't be going back there and say, and then you get out, and on the first day, one drink with a few people, because you come out, you need a few quid, you haven't saved no money, so you want to go and see this one, hoping they've got a couple of quid for you, or whatever, even if you came out and you did 3-4 weeks, I'm keeping away from them, or I'm doing my own thing now, I might even look for work, and all that kind of stuff. When it first started for me, I used to have one drink and it all used to go out the window. So I say to myself, Yami, how is it that you could do so much repetitive time doing things the same way with the same result? All right, insanity, something going to say, like the AA ruling about addiction and that kind of stuff. How many times did it take for you to get there? And I was telling you yesterday or today or whatever, and then, don't keep going back and forth and learn about, because there's many men that felt that pain and suffering and nobody there, or even if people were there, or lost loved ones, or, got a dear John from a lady, suffered all these experiences, being belittled by officers, being beaten up, had hot water thrown over you, and, trying to fit in and live a fake existence in there, because we know that it's a fake environment, made up of the men that are in there at the time, for whatever way you look at it, to make each other feel better, to be part of, belonging, to make your time go quicker, or to act hard, and that, all these things that you did in there to make you wish or hope or definitely tell yourself that you are not going back there again. And what do? Yammy. Keep coming and going, repeating, so then it became more demoralizing. Because the more you say you're going to do stuff, the more you know that you've said it so many times before that you don't even believe yourself now. But like I said, why is it then that some could learn from those hardships of the door slamming and not being able to see mummy, and not playing a part in the kid's life, and not being able to do the simple things that we think about before we get out of the gate? Now you come out that first day, let me have a fry out. Let's go and visit, we spend a day with the family. Let's go and see son. Let's go and see this. And you do it for a day or two. And then after a few days and a few weeks, you just drift back. Like all that suffering that you went through, it didn't even exist. to spend years and years and years and years as the years went by, and still you went back to feel the same stuff all over again. So you know that my story, eventually drugs, coping mechanism, gave up, surrendered. All right, I'm an institutionalized recidivist. That's what you call me. That's what I'll be. I don't care. I won't even try. But then I thought that all these best laid plans about what you're not going to do, what you missed, but the one thing that I didn't plan for, or maybe towards the end, I realized I got more intelligent, if you like, that you would need a plan of action to counteract the falling back into old ways with the same people, the same things, the same way that it made you feel. Your self-esteem gets worse and worse as time goes on. But some got it early. So the reoffending rate, they talk about that, like within 12 months, if you've got previous convictions, they predict that, the likelihood of offending because of your long criminal career, or the ones that stayed out 10 years before the last crime, realize your risk is going to be a little bit lower. Because you weren't habitual, because you proved that you could stay out without getting nicked, without doing, so according to the laws of the way that they do it, the probation service, the risk management team and all that. But it didn't mean that they weren't offending. It didn't mean that they were involved in the same lifestyle. It means they were better at staying out than me, and probably the crimes, what they were doing, were probably keeping them out longer. So why do some of us take so long to learn? And why some get it right the first time? Because the pain that all men, I don't care who you are. Someone said it to me earlier. Was it Ghost? One of you said earlier, I don't care what anyone says. You've got to have a conscience and you've got to be in pain. Even if I said to you that it became my life, that I surrendered to the life in prison, I was still hurt and wishing that I could make a life outside. So what we needed to do, when you're fantasizing or thinking, wishful thinking, it becomes then to me. That's what I was. I don't want to come back. But you would have to know how you were going to stay out and not lead a life of crime. You see what I mean? You'd have had things in position. Now there's loads of organisations when you come out. Remember, I tried a couple of organisations. Remember, after the KAs, I did was at a couple of charities doing part-time acting and doing school talks for a few weeks, and sadly got recalled a couple of times. Why I thought I've got it right now. I didn't want to go commit crime anymore. I didn't want to go back, because finally what you felt like in there, you realise, it finally took its effect on me. I don't want to go back there. I don't like it. And that's, sorry. So the solution, if you ever think like that and you go to prison once, because some get it, I ain't feeling that again. I'd rather get a job. I'm definitely not going to be locked away and being told what to do, when to do it, and that kind of thing. You see what I mean? So they got it. So what did they do? They found alternatives. Okay, let go of that life, get a job, be a family man, get a future, and many I'm finding outside have been out for years and years and years. Many of you on here testify to the fact that, last time I went to prison was 1980s, whatever, or 90s. I've been out 25 years, I've been clean, and some got it right. But for those that struggled, I suppose like me, our own worst enemies, you needed to have a foolproof plan, having made the mistake and the error of coming out from that first time, that you'd have had to know where you failed at. So it's all right, you're saying, I won't go meeting bad influences, blah, 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 blah. But it became a thing of, better the devil you know, but you're prepared to take the repercussions and accept that you're going to have to feel all that stuff in there that many felt, that many have not confessed to how they feel. Like when we was younger, I've done a Borsal, I've done a DC and all that kind of stuff. Who can't hear must feel. That's what happened. in the end. And I wish, and that's why I told you lot earlier that there are going to be many, many regrets, because not many get the chance to live that long these days. The lost generation, I call, of course, because the longer that I've been out now, I see the damage around it all. And it's got to be the teachers of crime, the original ones, looking up to him as a burglar, looking up to him as an armed robber, looking at them dealing and looking at them thing, because they are thinking it's all right to do that, and you're good at it. You get good for a few times and you think, all right, I got caught once, I got caught twice, but I know now that I will wear my gloves next time. I'll make sure nobody's looking. I won't be as brave, like I'll be more careful. But throughout history, as careful as you are and you think you are, you always get caught. I don't care who you are. You might be in the great mastermind criminals. We've already spoken that if it doesn't catch you in one way, it catches you up in another. But I'm just looking back, and that was the solution. I believe that the reason I didn't is because I didn't try hard enough to follow the next part of coming out, learning from the first mistake, is to put things in place by way of support. Because in the old days, there weren't many charities, there weren't many places that you could go and learn how to do computers and, you know, learn while you're outside and get funding from here to better yourself and have ex-criminals or people in certain positions that can help you see that you've got a better way of doing things than the stuff that you're doing, because of revolving door. Sometimes I wonder how I stood up to all of it for most of that time. But I know the Father in heaven played a big part in that. What was the other subjects I was going to drop up today? But interesting, I know what you mean. Yami's wisdom and insight and into working it all out finally, which I was saying earlier. There was a man, I forgot his name, he was saying that just before he's got this vision, just before he dies, he's going to say, no, I've got it now. I've worked it all out. I know not to go left. I know to go right. I know who to stay away from. I know you don't want that to be your last fall, do you? You want to know that you knew that all along and did something about it. But I think I've spoken for too much. I'm just in a mood. I'm in a good mood, actually. And talking about the panic attacks and the stuff, the new condition and all that, I'll get back to you on that. But thank you all for enlightening me on it, because it is a real feature. Saying a good night and loads of love to you all.